On this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, many are recalling the message of racial and religious unity.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old.
An influential North American figure, this message still resonates strongly today. For decades, the civil rights movement based in the United States has been praised around the world as a constant and timeless reminder that differences don't have to divide us. Even then, when it comes to world history, academics say it's fair to say that's exactly what gives birth to some of the deadliest conflicts. The Israel-Hamas war has now reached its 100-day milestone and has led to a rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim rhetoric and actions. One group says it may also be giving false impression that the war's geopolitical and religious tension paints a clear picture of the races impacted. Joining us by video from Jerusalem right now is Rabbi Mordecai Yosef ben Avraham. Good morning to you, Rabbi Avraham.
Good to meet you. Good morning to you as well. It's the afternoon for me, but good morning to you.
Good afternoon to you, Rabbi Avraham. I want to get into this right away here. I'm glad that we got you back here. You're live in Jerusalem this afternoon for you. How would you describe the Black Jewish experience when it comes to this war?
Well, there's a lot of Black people dying. There's a lot of Black people serving in the IDF that we've lost lives, a lot of Ethiopians, and there's African Americans. One thing to keep in mind that Israel has the highest per capita amount of African Americans internationally than anywhere else in the world. So a high majority of African Americans who left America and wanted to live abroad didn't choose, places like Ghana and other places. They chose Israel. So this whole experience of the war and the conflict is very much part of Black history and also part of the current day Black experience.
You're American born and likely familiar with Martin Luther King Jr.'s message. How does it resonate with you as you live this experience on this very day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Well, Martin Luther King, had a goal before he passed away to bring close to 5,000 individuals from America to Israel, African Americans, and he saw America in Israel as being locked in from the standpoint of democracy, and he saw democracy and the discourse that comes on with democracy was the way to evolve and elevate all human beings, all of mankind, and to ultimately create unity. And that's what he saw when Israel established itself in 1948. That's the message that Martin Luther King brought to the African American community, that this way of discourse, this philosophical approach to society was something that could bring world unity and remove pain and suffering from all of humanity.
What is the Black Jewish experience like in Israel today?
It's interesting, because it's like there's so many different types of, you have African Americans, you have Ethiopians, you have people from Africa, and we would all be considered Black, right? So, and I'm seeing different parts of Africa. And so it's an interesting experience, but it's exciting because, the Israelis love Black people. They do. They love African Americans. They love our story. If I'm on a random street somewhere in Israel, some guy who's in his 60s, maybe 70s, may come up to me and start talking to me about Miles Davis or B.B. King or a speech he heard by Martin Luther King. So it's a very much an inspirational place for African Americans and Black people as a whole, because it's a group of people who gain their sovereignty and decolonize themselves to go to their original place of existence, which is coming back to Israel.
Rabbi Avraham, what would you want the Western world to keep in mind going forward, especially when we're talking about Black Jewish experience in Israel?
When you see the Black Jewish experience, the Jewish people have been basically the African Americans in every society that they've lived in for the last 2,000 years, meaning that they've been abused by colonialism, they've been kicked out, they've been taken advantage of. And that's exactly the experiences that my ancestors had in America, right? And so this connection of African Americans and Black people have had throughout history in America and now in Israel is something that needs to be noted. And the rest of the world has to see that, hey, is it easier to jump and beat up on the minority, or is it about looking for the truth where we could create a space where everyone could be safe?
Rabbi Abraham, we want to thank you this morning and in afternoon for you in Israel for taking the time to speak with us today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.